Good evening. It's me, Alana Star. I go by Hashem Starrlanna. I just got back from an employee party, and it was great. Very third dimensional. Very cool. About to eat some brownies. Now I'm back home, and I feel like doing a video. Tonight's topic, I want to get into Aleister Crowley, Babylon working, America. And I also feel like talking about how that relates to the downfall of America, if it's coming, and how it relates to the whore of Babylon, the whore, the music industry, and the satanic worshiping that's been happening here for so long. So I'm going to start with a quote. An unstructured house, or a mind of a slave, is like unto a house without walls. A house undisciplined is like unto a house without walls. It will crumble within itself, and a house divided against itself will not stand. So this has to do as well with Trump and the division, the crisis of separation that has been so huge in America and all over the place, right? Separation is one of our biggest problems. It's one of the biggest crises I believe that we're facing right now. The president that we have right now has caused more chaos and separation. And that's really just a big setup anyway, because it's used to siphon energy from the people. So that's why it's important not to get too caught up in the politics stuff, because we don't really know exactly what's going on and for whose benefit. So, but it all is a big game, it all is a big play that's being played out right now, and you are a piece of that play and serve significant roles no matter how big or small you think you are. So, in a couple of my previous videos, I talked about Aleister Crowley. I spoke about his book Moonchild, and he was responsible for creating many different programs that took place and that are still implemented today. Some of these things are the mind control programs that were instilled, the beta sex kitten programming, mind control slaves, the Baphomet, the Satan worshipping, and the dark occult rituals that have been practiced within the music industry and the entertainment industry for a very long time. Now, the reason why I think it has a lot to do with what's going on in America right now is because America is considered to be a feminine country, a feminine state. The states of America is very feminine. It also represents so many other different details that have to do with the idea of it, of Babylon being America. And also, America is responsible for the music industry. Ooh, this stuff is tiring. It makes me want to go to sleep talking about it, but because I get so high energy, but then I just crash when I feel like I'm mumbling. Give me a second. So Aleister Crowley created, along with many others that I'll name later, Walt Disney being one of them, L. Ron Hubbard, but they created together the Babylon Working and the Scarlet Women and the Moonchild. And these were supposed to be women who were the harlots, who were created as prostitutes. And as we look at the Bible, we look back in history, they persecuted prostitutes, but Mary Magdalene was a prostitute. She was a sacred prostitute. And so there's a lot of distortions going on here. I feel a little distraction, but I think it's because a part of me is protecting America as the Holy Spirit that dwells here within the women. There are many women. The reason why America is important when it comes to the women is because although many women are not awakened, a lot of them are, and they have done the work, and so they reside in America, and maybe these are the first fruits, the elect that will rise up. I don't believe that a feminine man will be taking the place of the 144,000 because whether or not they feel they are feminine, they still are not feminine, and so it wouldn't work regardless. But the 144,000, the women here in America, the I am race, um, wow. So these programs were instilled into the consciousness in women. These were programs that were instilled specifically for women. Men were given different programs. We got the princess programming. We got the harlot programming. Some didn't, depending on what they were subjected to as children and what their parents did. And so it's different. But America has been treated as a harlot, treated as a sex slave as well. It's tiring because I feel like I needed to say everything. You know, there's so much to say. Sex by will, love by will, no caring and no sharing, no feelings. Sex is the route to power. Scarlet women, they are the secret to the doorway. Use and consume, feast, drink, and power through him. Waste and discard them. That was by L. Ron Hubbard. Scarlet means blood of their bodies, the blood of their souls. Bend their bodies, bend their minds, bend their wills, beat back the past. L. Ron Hubbard said this. Advice to his son, to use and abuse of the scarlet women or how to enslave minds, bodies, and souls. So this makes me like so upset because I look at the women in the industry and they're so beautiful and like they think they're living their dreams, but they're all abused and they're all living secret lives and they're all living in secrecy and fear. And pedophilia and perversion and idolization is so pervasive in this country because of Hollywood. They think they could just get away with anything because in calling it entertainment, you know? Excuse me, my eye itches. In the name of entertainment, they're abusing their talents. They're exploiting themselves for fame. And so it distracts the people. People that need to be entertained, those are the ones that I worry about. The people who live only to entertain, I worry about them too. Because they're both dangerous. One is seeking to entertain and their mind is obviously spoiled. A lot of people's minds get spoiled in the industry. Their egos just get out of this world. And they think that they are gods. And technically they are. They are low-level gods because they are fully aware of who they are. So they're abusing it to their advantage instead of using it to benefit the all by waking up more people. Instead they keep people hypnotized. That's the job of working for the entertainment industry. You're a professional hypnotizer. You give the spells to the nations. So spells come from watching things. It comes from writing things down and staring at them, giving it intentions. We're giving all these celebrities attention and our energy, and that's why they grow bigger. And they grow bigger because the ones up in power decide who gets to make it that big. So it's all a big part of the program. And so why did I say that the women in the industry of America, I mean, these beautiful women, they're so unawakened that they are being used as puppets. I mean, a lot of these men in the industry don't even care about the women. They don't care how beautiful they are. There's a dime a dozen. They're everywhere. And so the men, they've been led astray. And I think it has a lot to do with Lilith. It has a lot to do with the dark goddess energy, the abuse of that sexual energy, and the abuse of sex in general, and the perversion of the erotic innocence. So all these people were connected And not too long ago, here in Los Angeles, Pasadena, all these people ran these cities, and they were practicing ritualistic magic. The book Moonchild, that Aleister Crowley, who was good friends with L. Ron Hubbard, he created the Moonchild, and their job was to do rich sex rituals, to breed moon children, to birth them here as manifestations of the goddess, manifestations of the Holy Mother. And so, and a lot of it has to be the connection with who they call the demoness Lilith, who is actually the first woman that was created from the earth with Adam before Eve. So there's a whole different story behind that. But they were trying to bring this energy to the planet, and so they also are learned to abuse women because they knew that we were programmable through trauma and by abuse. You can mind control someone by just putting them into a traumatic state all the time and then going back to them and being nice to them. It causes a confusion. It causes the soul splitting of the mind and body. So you can have the most beautiful girl around, but her soul could be gone. Anyway, there's a lot of different disgusting things going on in the industry that if I even started to get into, like, you would have to be really ready and prepared to receive it, because it can really change your world by getting this information. Most of the world is left in the dark about what's going on in the occult, and occult is just hidden knowledge, but it's the heart of the people that have this knowledge and what they do with it. There's a lot of dark stuff happening. So I want to read a little more from a different site. Within every new person you meet, there may be a hidden hand serving to press your buttons. You must remember that most people at the moment still fall into predominantly unconscious criteria, meaning that they are under dominion of many divided beings' thought forms that live within them. These entities are light-based or thought-based, meaning that they served Luciferian Lightbringer agenda, which gave birth to their illusionary power from within the ultimate ignorance arising from mankind's trance state. So we know that most of mankind is living in a trance state because it's only obvious, and research has shown through psychological scientific studies that there are different parts of the body, the mind, that are not active consciously, but unconsciously it picks up and it reacts and it learns. So there's so much stuff here that I've been saving. There's basically a lot of cults that were running the cities, and that a lot of the stuff that is taking place right now were products firsthand of these people, these occultists. And I know that I'm not saying that everybody's bad. I'm not claiming things like this is research, like this is even Walt Disney, who my other videos I talk about the connection between all of them. And they created these mind control slaves. They created these beta programmers. And these girls have no idea how they are affecting the men right now. The men that are making this music, when we understand frequency and vibration and sounds and tones, we know that and words, they're casting spells and they're dumbing down every generation, and they're making it harder for us to connect to our heart center so we can actually heal and stop manifesting trauma, because trauma comes through bloodlines, it comes through the DNA and the blood and our genetic memory. So we're trying to break the chains of these cycles, and it's hard when you're living in a Luciferian system, okay? So Luciferian and Satanism are different things. Luciferian is a natural fallen angel, he's already dark. However, the Satanism is the people who are doing stuff, working with demons, working with the lower energies, vibrations, in order to get power for themselves so that they can remain on top in this matrix. So avoid thinking of a definite subject and all things connected with it, and let that subject be one which commonly occupies much of thy thought, being frequently stimulated by these sense perceptions, the conversations of others. On each occasion thou art betrayed into thinking that art sworn to avoid. Cut thee sharply upon the wrist or forearm with the razor. Thine arm from then seventh these both warning for a record. I don't even know why I just read that, but it did not make sense to me. These weird cultists making weird stuff up.